Well, we're joined now by Jody Westby, the Chief Executive of Global Cyber Risk and an expert on cybersecurity and cybercrime. Thank you very much for talking to us. First things first, can you just explain to us exactly what happened here?
Well, what happened was there was a distributed denial of service attack, which we call a DDoS attack, against the domain name server provider DYN, D-Y-N. And that company, think of it as managing a big address book for the internet. And the denial of service attack was targeted at that company, and therefore the address book was not available. So when people went to try to reach Amazon.com, for example, the address wasn't able to be sent back to their computer so they could access Amazon.com. So it effectively shut down a lot of websites across the country because this service provider wasn't able to direct people's computers to those sites.
So how exactly could this happen?
Well, denial of service attacks have been going on for a long time. They're easy to conduct. It's a well-known threat. And what happened here, apparently, is the use of a new piece of malware, which has been especially threatening and is able to exploit unsecured devices that we call the Internet of Things. So the Internet of Things is beyond our normal computer systems companies have and our own laptops and computers at home. We have all these other smartphones, smart TVs, cameras, lots of the different devices connected to the Internet that are monitoring things or providing us some sort of activity. When it can exploit millions of these devices, then it can establish a very large network from which to launch this attack. So it can have literally millions of devices sending a request into this DYN site and overwhelming it so that it's a very huge DDoS attack, and one that they have not been able to overcome just through having more bandwidth and through other normal measures. So that's what distinguishes it, is the size of it and how it's exploiting Internet of Things devices.
So if this sort of threat is well known, as you say, what can be done to prevent it?
Well, there are things that individual companies do, such as they get additional bandwidth available through providers that make this service available to help counter DDoS threats, so that if they are attacked, they have the capability to counter it. There are other things that every one of us can do, companies as well as people, in making sure that our devices are secure. We don't have default passwords on them. It's important companies only have the ports and services allowed. That means ports allowing things to come in and out of the system, and services, meaning the applications or the different types of systems they're running. Only those that they need and that are approved. So in other words, whitelisting and saying, these are the only things that will run on the system, that helps too. There's a number of things that can be done to try to diminish the threat. But it is and there are some other software techniques, like Paul Bixby invented an RRL, response limiting tool that you can use to help block DDoS attacks, but they aren't perfect solutions. Nothing is perfect, and so it requires a lot of effort by everyone. I think the good news on this is that we can turn this into a positive. This is certainly raising awareness of millions of people.
And finally, Jody, have the authorities given any indication as to who they think could have carried this out and any reasons for it?
Well, there's a lot of speculation. People are saying Russia. People are saying teenagers. People are saying North Korea. We don't know yet. But it is a sophisticated attack. It is one that is using, as I said, a lot of these devices and exploiting them that hasn't been done before. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's a nation state.
Okay, Jody Westby, thank you very much for talking to us.